gentlemen, how's everyone this evening? How's everyone this evening? So, look at here, y'all. This is a special edition of The Black Factor. Yep, special edition. We got something special going on today. Y'all, I'm going to talk about. So y'all hang in there with me. I know it's an off day. I know y'all are probably like, man, what's going on? It's a Thursday and you broadcasting. What's really good? Well, we're gonna have a special guest on this evening, you guys. We're gonna talk about something. You know, last night. Oh, by the way, before I get far off into my other thing here, let me say to y'all that we are. Hold on, y'all. We got a little bit of. Let me mute the mic there. On last night we covered this story, Tamar Ingleton. She has not as yet been located, but y'all please keep up the pressure. Let's keep up the hard work. Let's make sure that this young lady is located and found. And for those of you who don't know, if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see that we have put up her picture as a missing person. Her name is Tamar Ingleton. She is out there on the East Coast, y'all. Young black female missing in action. Now, as an update, I did get a text today from her family. I'm going to read it to y'all just so we kind of, so that I can kind of give everybody just a little bit of what's happening. The last text that I received was that let's see, the reports, the police are finally they've taken the report, and the detectives have gone to her residence and they're collecting evidence, and the investigation is beginning. So hopefully we'll get some information here a little more soon. So y'all stay on top of that. Tamar Ingleton, Brooklyn, New York, y'all. Keep your eyes open. Her picture is on my Facebook page. But now, you guys, let me go into this by saying that we are doing a very special show today, specifically because we have a crisis going on at our border here in Texas. And I am fortunate enough to have a gentleman that will be coming on tonight here in just a minute to speak with us about what's taking place. He is a pastor here in Texas, and I'm going to let him give you all the details and kind of give you some insight as to what's taking place down there, because, you know, we get this mainstream media, you know, they tell us anything. They tell us what they want us to hear. But I want y'all to hear it from somebody who is directly involved and has his hands in the mix of it. And then when we get done, because he's a very busy man, he's got a lot going on, so we're going to only keep him for a few minutes. But let me introduce everybody to this gentleman. His name is Pastor Jacob.
We're doing very good. Pardon me if you hear a lot of noise. I'm outside right now. I don't want to be inside with where our guests. So I'm outside here. Okay. So what is taking place right now is we're dealing with migrant from Haiti deportation. A lot of deportations is taking place, and at the same time, some families being released to the community. So it's good. Yes, they do. They do. I think like right now, for example, you see the community, you see brother and sister bringing boxes to help us with the current crisis. So as far as what I just showed you, I don't know if you saw it. People dropping off boxes, clothes and stuff to help the migrants. So I think what we've been doing since
Mm-hmm.
last week is very good because we bring in awareness to this situation. We're showing the Haitian people they're not alone. The Haitian people they are humans like
Right.
anybody else. So that's what's going on right now. Uh, so you said that it is a good sign. You said something like the situation is not as dire because they're releasing people. Is that
Well,
what was that
I
what you
guess what I
said?
mean, I probably spoke too soon because I know that there are bad conditions down there. Now, I guess, and here's one of the things, and I think this is what a lot of people are concerned with: the visuals that are coming out of there. We saw a video and some pictures of the guys on horseback. What is the story on that? What's the situation, and is something being done?
It was a big event that we
Mm-hmm.
saw. Hopefully somebody was there with a camera and we could see that. But there's so many other things that happening uh, behind behind the doors. There are a lot of other things that those black migrants been subjecting
Well,
to.
give us some idea
So
what's
so
happening.
what we
Tell
see.
us. That's what we want to know. What are they being subjected to? What's happening?
I'm so sorry. Can you
I
say
said,
again?
what is going on? What's happening that we can't see? Give us some idea what's happening that is going on behind the scenes that we're not aware of.
So you have to look at it. So if they deport about 3-4 thousand people to back to Haiti, and then they're only releasing like 200-300, so like we like 10%. It's not really progress,
Right.
because and then also what I see is that families being put in detention centers. It's not good, in the United States to put little kids in prison with their dads and their
Are they
moms.
putting are
You
they
know,
putting are they putting Haitians in these detention centers currently?
yeah. So you have to look at it. Everybody that passed through the Rio enter the United States immediately put in detention
Okay.
centers. So that's to include young men, young women, children, older men, older women, regardless. Everybody indiscriminately been put in detention centers. Uh, uh, for they're doing the triage, whether they're gonna keep them or whether they're gonna deport them. But putting children in detention with their parents, uh, I don't think it's a good thing. The kids, if eventually they're gonna realize that, oh man, I was in jail with my parents, that
Yeah, that's
stuff like
not
that.
good.
It's
I was,
Yeah, it's not
earlier
good.
I got to, as I was doing my homework for this story, I got to thinking to myself, what about the United Nations? Like, what are they saying, or are they saying anything? I read a story where I talked to, I mean, I didn't talk to, I read a story earlier where a young lady from the United Nations was saying that it is potentially against the law what the United States is doing by sending people back without vetting their individual stories because they may be sent back into unsafe conditions.
Yeah, the UN. So there is a UN entity, it's a UN High Commission for Refugee. They're suspending the situation right now. Condemning something that is going on is good, but forcefully demanding answers, demanding the stoppage of the mass deportation is what we need to
Right.
hear from the UN. So you have to look at it. Do immigration process, due process under the Geneva Convention, under the immigration
Right.
process. Uh, that's the people, those Haitians supposed to be given ample amount of time for them to explain why they're trying to enter the United States. When you mass deport them, you literally say you don't care about them. So therefore, we cannot call ourselves a country that value human rights.
Right. Well, I believe. Well, you're breaking up. We're losing your signal. Are you still there? Hmm? Still.
So
Okay, we're losing your signal a little bit. If you can move around some, we can get you back. Okay, there you are.
oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
back. I'm back.
So I would think that it would be self-explanatory as to why those people would not want to be sent directly back to Haiti. From what I understand, I mean, of course, Haiti's been through so much historically and then currently because, of course, the president was recently assassinated, right? Then, of course,
Yes, and we have an
the crime
earthquake.
is high, the earthquake, the tropical storms, and not to mention the economic situation that's been in place since probably what it's been in place for throughout history since the takeover of the country. But I'm thinking that, and I know because I actually did a story on Haiti about 3 weeks ago, and I discussed the history of Haiti and the fact that the United States wouldn't be what it is today without the Haitian revolt. And what they did in dealing with the French. And it's like Haiti can't catch a break. And now with the earthquake in 2010, from what I understand, most of the people who migrated out of Haiti at that time had moved into South America and Central America, and these are a lot of the people that we're seeing at the border. Am I right?
Yes. So talking about the what Haiti been going through, I in Haitian Creole we saying that what Haiti been paying over time. So if you look at it, 1804, Haiti kind of destroy the Napoleon army.
Right.
Haitians, they look at Haitians didn't have big weapons. Haitians had the ability to take independence from France. France say, "How dare you to do this to us?" So
Exactly.
France put kind of ransom behind after Haiti for Haiti to pay, and so we've been paying, and in the United States in 1915 came along, imposed their rules in Haiti, and then over decades, the United States, the international communities, the U.S. policy in Haiti been always a
Mm-hmm.
policy to to empower the rich and then to destroy the poor. So, and that's what we've been seeing. And what's been happening, what Haiti been paying over time, it's not something that we can say it's something that we don't know.
Wow.
It's something that actually
Oh,
we
we
implement
know what Haiti is
over
paying
there.
for.
So in
We
this
know exactly what Haiti is paying for, whether they want to admit it or not. We know they paid because in the eyes of those people, it was they're insubordinate, and they decided to take on their own destiny without them. And of course, they want to continue to make them pay, and that's been a historical fact. And it's a sad day, and personally, you want my personal opinion. I'm gonna tell you like this: America needs to open the border and let them all in, and help pay for some of the damage that we've done in regard to helping to keep that country in the economic turmoil.
yes, yes, I agree. We have to evaluate the whole situation. We have to evaluate why suddenly all these people trying to enter the United States. We have to go to Haiti, and we have to evaluate what's going on over there. If anybody that's in the administration trying to help, deportation will not help
Right.
Haiti. Will not bring stability in Haiti. Actually, deportations, the mass deportation will cause more chaos in this country. I don't know if you see those videos in Haiti, like people trying to run back to the airplane. People, you say, you return me to this country. Some people, we have to accentuate on that. Some people that are being deported have left Haiti since the first earthquake, in 2010 earthquake. So they've been through countries after countries after countries. So they have little to nothing in Haiti right now.
Haven't
So
had anything in
so
Haiti for quite a while.
exactly, exactly. So how how you return them to a place where uh, the place is not good. Conditions not set. How do you return them with a pure conscience, that something gonna be better? You know,
You do something for me. Can you share? I had something came up today. Like I said, I was doing my homework, and a question came up that I hadn't even thought about prior. Maybe you could shed some light on it. What happened that just like all of a sudden there was such a large convergence of Haitians at the Mexican border all at once like that?
okay, so the last 90 days have been heartbreaking for Haitians. Many Haitians wanted actually to return to Haiti on their own and then do things before the assassination of the president, before the earthquake, before the hurricane that took place down there in the last few months. So when Haitians see that, okay, so all this situation going on, when they see that even the most powerful man in the country has been assassinated. So they see that there is no recourse, there is no help for them. So they continue to come up north and trying to reach the United States. So when the Haitians turn their back on this land, Haiti, they know what they're turning back against. They know why they're moving forward. But to slap them in the face, they say, okay, so you don't want to go back in this poor, in this bad condition where gangs, political violence, you name it, all kind of violence on the society going on. The United States said, you I don't care, go back there, and then you deal with it. So to answer your question, it's what been unfolding within the last 90 days: the assassination of the president, the earthquake that killed 2,500 plus, and then these people still dealing with the 2010 earthquake, and then the hurricane, all the situation, and the country right now is not being governed by anyone.
Ask you, yeah, and and it's funny to me. It's like, I think what bothers me is that when other countries have humanitarian crisis and things take place, everybody sends all this aid and all of this help, and Haiti never seems to get anything. How do you feel about, for example, to stress my point? Right now, we have tens of thousands of Afghans being flown into our country while they're attempting to fly the Haitians out.
Yeah, so you have to make a parallel between Afghanistan and Haiti since 2001. Since 2001, situation in Afghanistan was and is still dire situation where you have fractions govern that place. It's the same thing in 2001. That was the same situation in Haiti. you transition into now 2021. You look at you got chaos in Afghanistan. The same situation, you have chaos in Haiti. Now, the U.S. policy for those two countries completely different. The opinion, the opinion of the American people completely different with regard to those two countries. You see, they say, "Hey, Afghan," they say, "Biden, why don't you go over there get the Afghans? Why don't you go over there to bring them here?" And Biden saying that I'm doing everything I can. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And then at the same time, so Haiti, they say, kick them back, send them back home. They're not belong here. This and that. So this is the only thing that I can see is about the skin color. You know, that's it. That's
The wrong complexion for the connection, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So for the last 20 years, the country is being ruled by bad people, and we know that the U.S. involvement in those two countries have been similar situation. The only thing is that Haitians are very peaceful towards United States, towards Americans, and sadly, the Afghans, we're not gonna sugarcoat it. The Afghans, they're the one that caused September 11th, 2001. They've been they've been over time plotting against the United States, and sadly, 2021, we return the Haitians, and then we bring the Afghans.
Well, this thing is real interesting, and but it just goes to show you, and this is, and I think what I wanted to one of my hopes for this show tonight was to show those glaring differences in the way people of color are treated. It doesn't matter the country. They're it's just, it's unfortunate, but this is the reality that we deal with. And most people in mainstream media, of course, they're not going to talk about it, and only time it really becomes an issue is when somebody in a higher political office gets called out. And that seems to be what's happening now, because I believe Kamala Harris finally had something to say today or yesterday, and the Congressional Black Caucus. But I'll be honest with you, I don't expect them to do anything that's going to amount to much more than what's already taken place.
Yes, I agree with you, because I mean, the Congressional Black Caucus, they're kind of playing games right now, because we have a Democrat at the White House. If it was for squaws, if it was a Republican over there, you will hear more fire going on.
Snake different head, brother. One of the Black Factor family has a question. They were curious about how were Haitians treated while living in South and Central America. Were they welcomed, or were they treated badly, or something like that?
Okay, so we're talking about two countries that welcomed Haitians back in 2010 after the earthquake. We're talking about Chile and Brazil. The presidents of those countries after the earthquake in 2010 welcomed the Haitians. But now, because those presidents, different policies now happening in those countries after the departure of those presidents, the game shift, the game change over there. So Haitians started to feel more of you no longer welcome here. So in those two countries, Venezuela uh, kind of a place that will welcome, but they have their own problems right now. It's not, it will not
Bad
be a good
economy.
place.
So basically, what you're saying is kind of like how the way when we change presidents, things change depending on the party and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So basically, then,
Yes.
so do you think that in particular has a lot to do with the actual influx, seemingly all at once, of people coming across treacherous terrain and everything else? Because I've heard that there have been several who have died along the way. And I mean, when I say several, I mean a lot.
Yes, yes. So there are many factors. There are many factors involved of about the Haitians departing Brazil and Chile, because there's some Haitians that were having good jobs and making some money. And I know the Haitians, they're not stupid. If they come to a point, they decide this that place is not the right place for them. I'm sure that the reasons. I talked to some of them. They talk about the discrimination. The discrimination in Chile is high, and now after they left those two countries, they tried to enter uh, Panama. Panama, they went through a lot of trauma and drama. Panama is Panama is part of it's a difficult uh, part of that journey. That's when black migrants or any migrants passing through Panama, if you're not lucky, something gonna happen. Either you get beaten, either you get raped, either you get robbed, either you get mistreated. So there's a place over there they call the Darien Gap. The Darien Gap. That place is no joke. When you make it through human barriers, natural disaster can kill you. Like for the animal can kill you. The you can get drowned. So in that area, and then Haitian continue to move forward in Guatemala, in Honduras, and all the way through Mexico and now to the United States. They suffered a lot in this journey.
How the Mexican government, how are they receiving or acting or treating the Haitian migrants?
I would say the Mexican government is very passive, just like the Haitian puppet governments, very passive. In
Governments.
Oh yes, oh yeah, those governments they work for the United States. So the thing that happened in Mexico, Mexico don't care as long as they can make money. So they make money off those Haitians, because the Haitians, they have to rent places, they have to pay for a little card that they have to get before they leave. It's all about money. So Mexico will not stand up against the United States for anything. So the thing that I'm trying to say, the journey all the way from all these 13 countries, the United States of America is the pillar. If anything gonna get done, the United States of America must take the lead. None of those other countries will. They don't care.
Funny thing, and this is getting down, I guess, to the heart of it. People in this country, we take so much for granted. And, I challenge anybody, any of my listeners, anybody that's out there watching, to put yourself in the position of being born in a country where it is as unstable as Haiti and having to attempt to make a life for yourself and your family and have to travel across an entire continent to get to that, only to be rejected when you get there. We don't think in those terms. We don't realize the amount of disaster that has taken place there. And in fact, if we're not very, very careful, this country will be falling on bad times not long from now. We've already had the West Coast is on fire. The East Coast was underwater. Hell, we down here in South Texas, and then we had a blizzard. If you don't think that these disasters can happen or are going to come to a larger scale, I think people need to wake up. And if we think, while we're sitting here in our comfortable homes on our couch watching our big screen TVs, and we think that these people, we look at them as nothing, and we try to dehumanize and demoralize a group of people thinking, oh, why don't they do this and why don't they do that? Put yourself in their positions and ask yourself, what would you do? I think that's a critical position that people need to think real long and hard about.
These are very wise words, and I think there are a lot of them that I'm gonna uh, reflect on, because nothing should be taken as granted. But we should always see we are blessed. We are blessed because, man, you know, we can complain about AC. We can complain about going to bathroom, and we don't have tissue. We don't have toilet paper, stuff like that. But some people that don't even have them. They don't even know what this stuff look like. So the thing is, I think what we see happening right now under the bridge in the Rio, what we experience, the horses, the whip, what we see the Haitian people suffered down there. I pray that it is not something to divide American more, to take sides, but it's something for us to come together to say, okay, these are humans. There may be different color than our skin, but they are humans. They may not they may speak a different language that we speak. They are humans. It's heartbroken when you see people talking about a discriminating uh, campaign that happened in the 1980s about Haitians, talking about AIDS, talking about HIV. And to see today, people bringing that same narrative, talking about COVID, talking about Haitians bringing COVID, and then they use that in our great state of Texas. They're using that as talking points to return our people, to return the Haitians back to Haiti. Wow, wow. This
I'm
is
gonna
how.
tell and I'm gonna show you something. So far, we have yet, and this is another thing that came up for me today. I was sitting there watching. Now, when I watched the people come out of Afghanistan as they were attempting to cross over into Pakistan, and they were being held at the border, and they were showing all that footage, something occurred to me. I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, wow, while they're making a big deal, this huge deal out of COVID, I did notice that no one was wearing any masks, but then at the same time, they could not point to any situation where anyone was suffering from COVID. And I just thought that was very interesting. And as I watched the footage of the different events going on over the last few days, I paid attention and I didn't see any masks. The first time I saw masks were when I saw the picture and the video of the migrants who had been returned to Haiti getting off the plane. And I just found that a little bit disturbing. So
It is. It is.
it's now where I just, I'm disappointed and I'm saddened by the levels of political. These people are being turned into political footballs, and this immigration in this country is broken, and it has been for a very long time. Yeah. And I hope, to be honest with you, I hope this makes them have to fix it. I hope this is one of those thorns in their side that makes it where we have to fix the problem. Either stop allowing anybody in here, or stop cherry picking who you're gonna let in. Is either on or off. The faucet is either on or off. Let's stop the trickle.
So let me. I know you don't have too much time with you, but I'm gonna share this with you. So I have 5 siblings in Haiti, 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I filed for petition for relative. Petition for relative, it's immigration form I-130. So I filed that form back in 2008. And in 2010, the application that I filed for my siblings get approved. So 2010, now we are in 2021, that's 11 years. No one has called to give them the visa.
So we talking over 10 years.
So over 10 years that my siblings been waiting for them. So you see, so if you talk about those Haitians trying to enter illegally into the United States, so we must fix the legal system, because I am a victim of the legal system, because for 11, so let's say 13 years, I applied for my siblings. For 13 years, I have not received anything about the visas, even after the approval process started.
Deep, man. That's real deep. Well, listen, Pastor, I appreciate you taking your time out, because I know you're a very busy man. You got a lot of work going on down there. And man, I don't know. I'm at a loss, only because our hands are tied, and I don't know what any of us can do to help the situation. But all I can say is that our prayers are with you. Is there a possibility that someone can donate to a cause that you have down there, some assistance? Because I understand there are restaurants and things that are actually cooking and bringing food down to them and different things like that. Is there somewhere that people can donate or provide any type of assistance? What can the general public do, or people around the globe for that matter?
I will be sending you the information as far where, if anybody wants to donate, they can donate to the church. But I can tell you, the migrants, when they enter the United States, when the United States let them in, they take and destroy everything that they have with them. When I say everything, the papers, like the passports, the license, the immigration keep them. And then if they have any nice clothes, if they have any perfume, if they have any thing valuable, they just consider them as contraband, and then they throw them away. So, and then when they release the migrants, they release them with the prison outfit and the GPS monitoring system. So something that I think you have a powerful microphone that you can continue to bring awareness to this situation happening involving the Black migrants, because and then the condition in the prison camps, the condition exposing those black migrants to cold weather or cold environment. Like these people, we blow the AC to the coolest, and then and then many Haitians come being released with like chill type of sickness.
So
we have
that's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yes.
I mean, again, I'm at a loss. I want to be able to bring information to the people, man, so they can get an idea of what's happening. Because when we watch mainstream media, of course, they're going to give us the story they want us to hear. But I want to hear what's really going on.
Yes, it's on the ground.
So yeah, it's a serious situation, man. Well, Pastor, listen, I appreciate you. You go ahead and get us that information, and I'm going to make sure I get it posted for anybody who wants to do any type of assisting and help you out as much as possible, man. You know, you're doing the work. I tell people all the time, you know, it's easy to sit on your couch and be an armchair quarterback, but you out there doing the work, man. And I want you to know I appreciate you. I'm gonna say thank you for whatever that's worth.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my wife says thank you very much. She appreciates you. She's the one that reached out to you and got you over here for us to be able to talk to you and put it out here. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And you got my number. Reach out.
Yes, sir.
Holler at me. I'm going to reach out and find out what's going on. If anything develops, anything happens that we need to know, please call me. Let me know.
Okay.
Pastor Jacob.
I will do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Jacob, man. Thank you. You have yourself a wonderful evening, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Pastor Jacob, one of the churches down there in South Texas, and one of the churches down there in South Texas, and they're actually down there putting in the work. They putting in the work down there, y'all, and it's like, you know, what are we gonna do? What can we do? But before I, you know, I got so much stuff that I wanted to cover on this, and I'm gonna actually go through it. Now, for those of you who saw the pictures, I want to get back to this horse thing. The pictures of those folks down there, them cowboys down there, call themselves corralling, wrestling, rustling, or whatever they were doing, the people. I have a video that I want to show you because I want to go over this sort of piece by piece. Now, I saw some news stories where they said that and this was the guy from Homeland Security. I can't think of his name. He claims that what those guys on the horses were doing was within their policy. Now, I'm going to say this. I took it upon myself today to Google slave catchers to look for images. And you want to know a funny thing? You know what mostly came up? Images of these same guys on horses chasing migrants. These white men on their horses with their cowboy hats chasing the migrants. Now, I'm going to stop short of saying whipping the migrants. However, it did look a bit like a rodeo. Now, let's watch this video right quick, and I'm going to explain something.
They've set up in Texas.
Hey, you use your women? This is why your country because you use Hey, you use your women? This is why your country because you use your women for this. Women? This is why your country because you use your women for this. You go, that way. Hey, no. No.
I ride horses. And on no occasion, for no reason, have I ever had a need to swing the rein. Now, that clown from Homeland Security said, oh, they do that in order to control the horse. They use the reins in order to control the horse. Well, that is true. However, the rein, first of all, doesn't need to be that long. Okay? It's not necessary. However, if that's what he chooses to do, that's fine. But for no reason have I ever needed a rein that long to control a horse. Okay? Now, these photos, and as you can see, this looks like a modern day damn near rodeo. They're out here chasing behind people. And this particular picture right here, I found a little bit of almost amusing. It would be funny if this wasn't so damn disrespectful and pathetic. But that guy looks like he's actually laughing while he's escaping from this clown on this horse. But something else stood out to me. You see all the packages in their hands? They are literally carrying food. And they're carrying food because they have gone over into Ciudad, I can't even pronounce the doggone second part of that. I got it somewhere, y'all. Anyway, it's the city that is adjacent to Del Rio, that is in Mexico, across the Rio Grande River. Well, apparently these people have actually been going back and forth across this dam, the water dam. Let me see, did I put that picture up? They've been going back and forth across this water dam in order to get food and supplies to feed their families. Now, I asked the pastor about how this, it's Ciudad Acuña, which is the city that's over there. But these people are going back across the dam. Now, they're actually leaving the United States, walking across the dam, and going back into Mexico to retrieve food, supplies, and toiletries. There's no running water. They don't have toilet paper. They don't have food. If anybody gets sick, they don't have medicine. They did say that there's a triage. The pastor did say there's a triage out there. I heard there were paramedics and things just in case people became ill. But I had one other curiosity, and I think I should have probably asked, because I thought it strange that if these people have nothing, how is it that they're able to cross this dam and go and purchase food? So that led me to wonder, and this is why I asked him how all of this began to take place and how we came to these people showing up all at once. Now, somebody on a website that I frequent made a point of saying, and I had heard this in another news story. I don't know how true it is. It could be rumor. It could be, a lie. But somebody made the comment and said that the cartels and the governments from those other places that they had been living for many years since the 2010 earthquake, Brazil and Chile, their government said, yeah, you know what? Y'all need to get to America. You can probably get in now. And they packed all those people up, probably gave them a little money, put them on buses, shipped them off to the border. Now, I heard that. I don't know how true that is. Do not quote me as that being a fact. That is something that came across my desk. But it is curious about how this just happened out of nowhere. So I'm going to dig deeper into that. Some people on social media have commented that the image of fleeing black men chased by white officers on horseback had the echoes of historical injustices suffered by black people in the United States. And if you listened to what he was saying, the discrimination runs deep across the Americas. Now, it's been said by by the federal government now, Homeland Security, this is unacceptable, and this thing is under investigation. And just so you know, the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, has suspended the use of horse patrols in Del Rio. So in other words, them cats on horseback is probably riding a desk right now, or they're probably in cars, but they're not, no more horses out there with them for now. The bottom line is we are still having to deal with this. Now, according to them, they did all of this, and this is so typical. They said, we are, the men on the horses behaved the way they did to ensure the safety of the immigrants while searching for potential smugglers. Whew, here we go with that. Now, I also heard earlier today that they talked about not only smugglers, but potential terrorists in this group. I'm sorry, y'all. It's getting beyond ridiculous. However, yesterday, a bus bound for San Antonio, right here where I am, was overtaken by some of the migrants, some of the groups that they decided to put on planes and send back out of here. So during the 2.5-hour trip from the International Bridge, the migrants on the bus basically hijacked the bus, and they broke out and they took off. They called it a revolt. And of course they called it a revolt because we know that Haitians' most famous accolade is that they kicked France out of Haiti. And if you watched, and I did this show a few weeks ago, you remember me talking about how they did them. And Haiti is still paying for that to this day. Anyway, these people were waiting to be shipped back to Haiti, so they jumped off the bus and tried to make a run for it, which of course they were rounded up. It was a privately contracted bus. Let's see, according to two law enforcement officials, they did break out of the bus and they did escape, according to two senior federal law enforcement officials. It's not clear which federal agency, Customs and Border Control, or Immigration and Customs Enforcement, was overseeing the transport. CBP initially apprehends, transports, and processes illegal immigrants, while ICE is responsible for longer-term detention and removal from the country. So I guess it's a good thing they're not dealing with ICE on some level. They're not being put into cages. Do you realize, and I think that's part of the reason why they're so anxious to get them out of the country. Could you imagine the visual of all those black people in cages? It was bad enough when they did it to Mexicans. But could you imagine the backlash in America if they stuck all those black people in the same cages they put those Mexicans in? It would not be a good look. And that is why you're watching, why they're working overtime to move them out of the country. And in doing so, they are constantly flying planes back into Haiti. But the disturbing thing about this is that many of these people, a great majority of these people, have not lived in Haiti in over 10 years because most of them left after the 2010 earthquake and had been living in South and Central America. So they're now seeking asylum in the United States as refugees. And if the conditions in Haiti are not bad enough to be considered a humanitarian crisis, because we're not sending any resources over there, think about this. If a crisis happens anywhere in the world, people are quick to send resources and everybody comes to aid and help and do everything. But not Haiti. Never Haiti. Haiti is on its own, while also being ripped and stripped of its resources, what resources it once had, by more powerful governments, namely the United States, France, Britain, and the list goes on. So the people who they found out they were going to be returned to Haiti, so they broke out of that bus and got on down. The National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd mentioned the incident at a press conference alongside Texas Governor Greg Abbott, you know, the one who doesn't want people wearing masks, who called for the perpetrators, now get this, to be prosecuted. Governor Abbott, rather than try to do something to help people who are in the fight of their life, he says they should be prosecuted for attempting to run from the bus. Ain't that something? And he says, I got to thinking, man, I don't know. Okay. Some migrants said they returned to Mexico in search of food and water, while others crossed due to fears that they would be deported back to Haiti on flights organized by U.S. authorities. Now, when you see those people coming back across, and what happened was some of them got stranded on the other side because they went back to Mexico to get food and things to bring back to their families, and then they got blocked off. There's a dam down there, and they actually released the dam to put more water in the river so that it would make it harder for them to actually get back across. Now, I asked him about the United Nations, and he did say that the United Nations is involved. Geneva, September 21st, according to Reuters, the mass expulsion of Haitians from the United States without screening them screening for their protection may constitute in international law and forced returns. The United States top refugee official said that it may constitute being illegal. He urged the United States to lift its Title 42 health-related restrictions in place since March of 2020, saying they deny most people arriving at the southwest U.S. land border an opportunity to request asylum. See, so in other words, they're not even giving these people an opportunity to request asylum. They're just putting them on buses, planes, trains, and automobiles. Get them up out of here. The summary mass expulsions of individuals currently underway under the Title 42 authority without screening for protection needs is inconsistent with international norms and may constitute refoulement, Grandy said in the Geneva-based agency's strongest statement since the crisis began. He voiced shock at images of the deplorable conditions under a concrete highway overpass in Del Rio, Texas, where more than 14,000 Haitians had gathered after fleeing countries in the Americas, many hoping to seek asylum. Now think about that, fleeing. Why are they fleeing? Why are they, Pastor said a lot of them were actually gainfully employed and making decent money. Why did they need to leave? There's something else afoul here, y'all. I don't know what it is, but something else going on. But yet the United States can fly in tens of thousands of Afghans, but they want to fly out tens of thousands of, hell, it ain't even tens of thousands. We're only talking about what, 10, 15,000 people? But they want them out of here now. Ain't that something? They're being deported with no questions asked. Now, remember, Haiti has no president. He was assassinated. The crime is high. They don't have any school for students, no work. The economy is bad. And under the bridge, they have no sanitary conditions, no food. And to top it all off, it's 100+ degrees in South Texas right now. Many of them haven't been to Haiti in over 10 years. They're calling it repatriation. I'm going to tell you like this. If it were me, see, I'm doing what I said earlier. I'm talking about what I would do. If it were me, I'd walk my ass back into Mexico and go find me a gig, knowing what they were going to do to me if I came back to the United States. Because the last thing I'm going to do is go all the way back into some conditions that I left because how bad it was and then have to try to make that trip all over again. That's a treacherous journey, y'all. Half the people listening to me, no insult, y'all, but let's be honest, half the people listening to me couldn't walk across a city, let alone across an entire continent. Planes, trains, automobiles, lions, tigers, and bears. It's all out there. What are we to do? But I'm going to tell you like this. I believe, personally, that the United States should have to accept these people. And you want to know why? Because of the very politics that kept Haiti in the conditions that it's been under for the last 100 plus years. Because of our hand, our thumb on the scale of their economy and creating conditions that would never allow them to thrive and be self-sufficient. Why? For one reason and one reason only. Because they took over as slaves. They revolted, kicked the French out, and took over their own destiny. They've been paying for it ever since. You ain't got to believe me. Look it up. The history is all there. The parts that they want to tell. It's all there. We are responsible, in my opinion, for a large portion of what has taken place in that country. Our country has dirt on its hands, literally. I have a guest in the studio who likes to wave at me and say things under her breath. What were you saying?
Isn't it amazing that whole island, Dominican Republic, is on one side and the Haitians, but the Dominicans won't let the Haitians come
Yes.
together?
We talked about that on the. She said, "Isn't it amazing how it's all one island, but you have Haitians on one side, Dominicans on the other?" We covered that on the previous show where we talked about the reasons why that is, because Spain had one side and France had the other, and the island was once called Hispaniola, named by Christopher can't get right Columbus. So all I'm gonna say is this, y'all. I just wanted to cover it. I wanted to make sure we got it in there. I did today's special show because Pastor was available, and he is a very busy man because he is down there doing the humanitarian work. He's down there doing what most of us wouldn't. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say thank you for coming and listening and paying attention, and hopefully something good will come from this. I can't imagine what it would be, but maybe some families will get some freedom. Now, we did learn, because I didn't know this, we did learn that they are releasing some of those Haitian families into the United States. So that's a good thing. Maybe not enough, but they are doing it. Now, before I go, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget Tamar Ingleton. Wait a minute. Let me see. Let me pull the picture up on the screen. Let me get to the real picture. We ain't gonna use that one. We're gonna use this one. Ladies and gentlemen, do not forget Tamar Ingleton of Brooklyn, New York. Last seen on Schenectady Avenue. She's missing from Crown Heights, y'all. Her birthday is today. Still missing. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Tamar. And I hope you're all right. There has been some movement on the investigation, it looks like. And so as things develop, I will forward that information to everyone and let you know what we find. And I hope all is well and all ends well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with your homie. You know what's funny, y'all? Yeah, never mind. Everybody have yourselves a great night. I'm going to get something to eat. Oh, and guess what? Right quick, my baby is on her way home, and I can't wait till she get here. We gonna have some fun. Y'all have a good night.